So what would make you think them people over there are crazy enough to go tell the police ahead of time? But they have been getting away with that. Apparently because they were ready to mount up. They were gathering folks. I could tell the energy was crazy.
They had to prove themselves.
So I know, but this person was already a general in the hood. This wasn't like a peon just trying to get on. They had already been put on and already had their position. In fact, and so I'm going, what happened? And I can also tell you this, having been one of the founding members of the Watts Gang Task Force, there were two officers in particular in the community. And when we would talk to people in the various projects, these two officers' names always came up. And we, with our clout as the task force, petitioned the department to move them. And they did.
I'm surprised.
But guess what? I decided this part of it, that they were dealing, they was making a whole lot of money out of those projects because, get this, the department transfers people from precinct to precinct all the time. It is a common occurrence. These people were not demoted. They weren't anything. They were just moved to another precinct. Y'all ready for this? They sued the department to get back into the neighborhood.
And won.
One of them did, one of them didn't.
Yeah.
Now, one of them told some of the community members, my bosses are not going to like the fact that I'm getting moved up out of here. Who's in the meetings talking about me? Right? So they had a boss, and I know they weren't talking about the chief of police. Or maybe they weren't, look, I don't know. But anyway, I digress. So that concept that they do things and set things off, I knew it from the standpoint of these, what I considered corrupt officers, but I never thought about it from the standpoint of the corrections officer trying to make that money for the holidays and also for the sake of them putting their children through college.
If I told you something, you wouldn't believe it.
Okay, well, remember we on,
I don't care.
I know. I just want you to know. I'm just making sure you know, because
No,
look,
but
I'm telling, because this is the thing. There are people who may hear this that don't understand what you're talking, what we're discussing right here.
Yeah.
And they have a totally different view of what this all means, and they're the lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. They were talking about lock up Hillary Clinton for emails? Are you kidding me? You want to subject her to this environment behind some emails? I digress. Anyhow.
Who do you think picks the governor?
Well.
No, I'm just asking you a straight out question. Who do you say?
Technically, they say people vote, and that's one thing, but I will tell you this, I believe, knowing as much as I know about politics, that it's not just that simple.
If you look behind the governor when they're running, you'll see that union for the police department and CDC.
Most powerful union, the prison guards union in the state of California is the most powerful lobby in the state of California.
Yeah, and they have a really good shot of putting whoever they want in, and it's the person that is crying to you about crime and this and that. I started in prison. There was 8 prisons. And when I left, there was 36.
That just blows my mind. That in a lifetime, because, and the thing that blows my mind about it is that it was all for money.
And did the crime rate go up? The population went up.
Well, I can tell you in prison, I can tell you when the crime rate blew through the roof is when, particularly here, is when the government started dumping dope and guns into this community. I used to think, so there was a story about they used to leave boxcars full of guns on the tracks in this neighborhood. And I used to think, oh, that's a myth, because now mind you, I'm a, law and order kind of girl. I like order, I like things, I don't want to live next to the criminal neither. That's me. Well, and when I started doing gang intervention, I met some of those people who got those guns. And that was a true story.
Yeah.
And what happened it was interesting because my dad became a staunch conservative, moved to Montana in the hills and all those things after he took advantage of every democratic program and social service program that could help him get off of heroin and get his degrees and all that. After he took advantage of all that, he became a conservative, which is fine, no problem. But he was the one who told me about a particular person that you can Google, Danilo Blandone. And I started looking him up, and then I found out and started talking to the people who knew him. And the reality is that Freeway Rick got years in the penitentiary. Blandone got something like 24 months of citizenship in America. In the law and order, under the law and order Republicans. So the cold part about that to me is, let me just stop right here and say, I don't think the Democrats and Republicans are any different when it comes down to all of it. I think it's all about money. I think there's a system in place, and when one's messing up too bad, they go to the next to pacify the people, and then they go back to whatever it was. But they all stealing while they're doing it. That's just me. Whatever. I know they're not gonna like it, but I don't care about that. So I say, that's why I said they say people vote, but what happens is there's all this lobby and there's all this finagling and moving people around. There are conversations that happen before the votes actually ever get cast about who should even run. It happens in local politics. It happens at every level. So I understand, but I do know that the prison guard union they pay for lobbyists. They pay, and they have more lobbyists, and they're powerful. They're an extremely powerful lobby in the state of California. And a lot of things don't happen if they say it doesn't happen.
I say what I think.
Absolutely.
I always have, even when I shouldn't.
When it wasn't in your best interest?
Yeah, but, I if I know something or really believe it, I'll say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care who you are. Because I tell you what I did at the board that time.
Right.
Yeah, told them to stick it, and 3-judge panel was going to get me out. And then when I went back 3 years later, so I don't think I should have said that. And the chairman said, yeah, I don't think
Probably not.
But I've seen so much crap that they get away with. And if they took a camera, if somebody snuck a righteous camera in where they could you take a block, they have between 2 and 3 officers for each block. The average officer comes out of that office for unlock and lock up and chow.
So let me stop you and ask you this. Unlock is to let people out to go
to the yard or work. Right.
Lockup is when they're bringing them back,
right,
so that they can count.
Yeah.
Chow is when they go to eat.
Right.
So those are the times, and whatever count times, because they count several times a day, right?
Yeah.
So those, they do the unlock, the lock, and all of that.
And the rest of the time they sit in that office. And if you go up there and you need something, your chances of getting it are slim and none, or you got to wait till they decide to come out of the office.
But I want to push right there and say this. I want to, in all fairness, no matter how much money they're making, they're trying to get home at the end of the shift. They're trying to get home at the end of the shift. And that doesn't mean, now let me ask you this. Do you believe that if they came out of their office more, that there would be less?
Sure there would.
Okay, and let me tell you the reason I asked you that. I can understand it from this standpoint. Our nonprofit organization owns property. And I'm always telling my managers, you must walk the property every day.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you walk the property, the tenants are accustomed to seeing you. They know somebody's watching.
Yeah.
Or conversely, when you don't walk the property and they know you're not watching, they will violate every house rule, every lease term or whatever. But if they know you're coming, so that's what made me key on that, is because if they just did their jobs, a lot of what makes their job difficult might not be that difficult if they were doing their job from the beginning.
Each building has usually 3 showers. The blacks are usually on the bottom.
Don't that make sense?
And no, it's just the way that it's
The way
always-
they, no, yeah. mhm.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm saying.
Now you got 2 other showers,
Mhm.
and that's split up between the whites and the Spanish, and
Mhm.
whatever, you know.
Mhm.
And probably the killings inside the place is 80% of it done in the showers.
Mm. See, and these
But
are,
when they open for showers, cops ain't going up there. And because they know that if something's going to happen, it's going to happen there.
well, again, they trying to get home at the end of the shift.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're
but that
not
doesn't
doing
make
their
it right.
job.
But that doesn't make it right, and our tax dollars are paying them to go to make sure that people in custody. This is the legal aspect of it. Our
I
tax
see.
dollars are paying to make sure that people in the custody of the state are safe and have a certain expectation of quality of life, at least to even be able to live. And so what you're saying is that our tax dollars are being abused. They're allowed, and the quote law and order part of it is there's not a whole lot of law or order, only what they dictate at that particular moment, which is what makes the notion of all of the security and all of this stuff, and